Hello guys, welcome to another video. So stop by our favorite power sports dealer, Vallely Sports and Marine in Minot, North Dakota. Today we would be doing a face-off between the Mahindra Roxor and the Polaris Ranger XP 1000. So, in the side by side market in the United States, the Polaris Ranger is a market leader by far. They take more than 60% of the market. In fact, looking at the Polaris is just synonymous to talking about side by side. You show a kid, you say, "What's that?" And they'll say, "Hey, that's a Ranger." Just about in the same way that you show some people a motorhome and they'll say, yeah, that's a Winnebago. Or you show a little airplane and they'll say, hey, that's a Cessna. So basically, the Ranger is a household name. And today we figured out, well, these are the two big players in the field. Let's try and see what's going on between the two. Ranger, of course, it's a full lineup. You have the XP 1000 has a dual overhead cam, whereas you have like this Ranger 1000 and it's just a single overhead cam. Like I said, we're here at Vallely Sports and Marine at their Minot location. So the XP has a dual overhead cam, and what it does is you have a difference between the single overhead cam and the dual. Single overhead cam will give you 61 horsepower, and then the dual overhead cam will give you, I believe, 82 horsepower. So it's a major difference. And then also, speaking about the horsepower, the Mahindra Roxor has a 2.5 liter turbo diesel engine, and that would give you 62 horsepower. Well, the story is not just about the horsepower. Here, I'm just showing the tire on the Polaris XP 1000. It's a 6 ply, so that's good for up to about 50 psi. And the ply rating basically just tells you, gives you an idea of how much load that tire can bear. You can see the two different tires. The one on the Polaris, very aggressive. The one on the Roxor, more street oriented. So yeah, that's basically what the Polaris looks like. If you notice up front, where you have the grill, there's a camera. That's the back section. You can notice the exhaust, the muffler, and the final tailpipe. Everything very accessible, easy to work on. There you have the gear shift lever. And one thing I should say about the Polaris is the gear shift lever is not notched, so you can slide it up straight, slide it down straight. Comes in very handy when you're working on a farm or a ranch and you really don't care for all those notched gear shift levers. So it makes shifting between gears very easy and stress free. This is a view of the cockpit or the cabin, or I don't know, the driving station, whatever you want to call it. In the Polaris, you can tell these side by sides have really matured. They've come a long way. It almost feels like a regular car, not even a regular car, like a luxurious car, like a luxury car. And you can see the steering wheel. It's got all those nice little accents with bolts. It really feels really premium when you get in there. And I should say that this is not just a regular Polaris. It is the Polaris 1000 XP Northstar edition. and it comes with a windshield. It comes with a top. It comes with doors with windows that roll all the way down. And the most interesting feature on here is the ride command system, which you see right there on the screen, on the right side. So the ride command system, it's just enables a world of connectivity between the machine and the operator. You can connect your phone if you're riding with people. It also allows you to be able to see where the people are, and you could actually do that without cellular connectivity. Whereas here you can see the interior of the Roxor, it is more Spartan. Here is the 2020 Mahindra Roxor. Very beautiful looking on the outside, but it's like apples to oranges. They're both in the same segment, but they'll appeal to different types of people depending on what their mission is. So the Roxor is very utilitarian, and it will last forever. You start the engine, it revs up at about 850 to 900 RPMs, whereas the Polaris Ranger XP 1000 idles at about 1300 initially before the engine warms up, because most of these systems are they're controlled by computers. Once they warm up, initially they rev a bit higher to achieve optimum temperature, and when they do that, then the idle slows down. Everything controlled by the ECU. So that's what the Roxor looks like. Very heavy, utilitarian. It's got a 2000. Well, the Polaris Ranger has a 2,500 pound tow rating, whereas the Roxor is 3,450, if I'm not mistaken. Well, it's about 3,400 plus pounds for the tow rating. Other thing I'm gonna talk about is the issue of ingress and egress. You can see the Roxor sits pretty high in its stock form, and most guys who buy the Roxor try to make them even higher. So they install lift kits, bigger tires, and for 2020, Mahindra did what the people have been asking for. They reduced the gearing, the final gearing on the Roxor. So now you have a 5.38 final gearing, which will work very well for guys trying to put a lift kit. So this is a closer look at the Polaris. You can see the components up front protected there. It's got a winch kit with a synthetic rope. That's synthetic. Very few people these days use the chains because it just causes a lot of scratches and destruction. And the winch is a Polaris in-house winch rated for 4,500 pounds. You can see the front camera. So let's say you're in a very cold weather or in the middle of a bog, you don't want to get out, get your feet dirty or wet, then you can use the front camera to see what kind of obstacle you have up front. So those are some of the options on this particular unit. Power steering, Northstar, and other acronyms there. I'm not sure what they are. You can see it's an XP 1000. It's got a dual overhead cam, which bumps it up to produce 82 horsepower. The regular 1000 would just be 61 horsepower. It's got full doors with which are lockable. You can actually lock the doors, and those seal very well. I like the doors. I like the grill. And check this out. So on a regular XP 1000 without the front camera, when you go on the trails, you get all kinds of dirt into your grill, so you can take it out just like that and then clean out the grill. How cool is that? For the Roxor, you have to go back to India and you see over there they have some kind of protector for the grill. That way, you don't get too much dirt, bugs, and stuff into your radiator. So that's a regular Ranger XP, 1000, sorry, not an XP. This is a Northstar edition, which is a premium edition. It's got the wiper kit, windshield wiper, and it's also got the windshield washer. We'll open up the door opens forward, and some areas, in summertime it gets really hot and you might want to take off the door. It's very easy. You just take off that rubber strap, easy. You pop it out from there, and then you lift up the door. You can see it's supported just by these two hinges, one at the top, one at the bottom, and you will have your door off your Ranger. Talking about, you see there's some very excellent weather sealing, and this is designed from the ground up, so every single part integrates very well within the Ranger lineup. Door has window. You can roll it all the way down. How amazing is that? The offerings we have for the Roxor right now, you have some with sliding windows, but the Roxor product is just less than 2 years. It has not really matured in the North American market. So as time goes on, I'm pretty sure we'll have better offerings for the Roxor, and that's a 2020 Mahindra Roxor. So I spoke about the ingress. You can see, I'm not showing that right now, but the seat is very well padded here. It's soft, very supportive. And check this out. More storage underneath the seat. This is a 3-seater. You can also have your Ranger as a 6-seater. I believe this starts at about $23,000, $24,000, and then goes to about 26, 27 for the 6-seater. Got some sound deadening material up top, cup holder, vent. Everything about this Ranger just feels premium. The quality of the plastics. I believe for the side-by-sides, you call them injection molded material. Actually, not plastics. Especially when you're speaking about the body panels. In here, it feels really nice, very comfortable. Sitting position is more like you're sitting in a chair in an office. So that's additional storage. Trust me, it opens up. I don't know why this one was stuck, but that's some additional storage right there. Believe me, it is. Open that. You got a space where you can store documents. Sorry, I'm trying to open that one on top, but yeah, just showing you there's a ton of storage wherever you look. More storage below. That's a speaker. This particular one comes with a dual speaker setup, and that's amazing. So you have your door opener, you got the wide window crank, and then you have where you can pull the door shut. Additional warnings: wear your helmet. And that's not an in-depth view of the cabin, but shows you a little bit what you might expect. There you have the fan control, and on the right you have the temperature control. Believe it or not, this thing has heat and air conditioning from the factory. So it's not like a hodgepodge that you're trying to put together from mismatched components. And see how simple this is? You go from single wheel, which is the turf mode, and then rear drive, and then four-wheel drive, just like that at the touch of a button. And you have room there for more expansion. That's the gear shift. You got high, low, neutral, reversed, and pack. And like I said, it's just a single straight shot. It's not notched. So if you're doing like snow plowing or running back and forth or trying to chase some calves, you don't have to worry about, shifting your gears. And once you go to reverse, you can see that the rear view camera comes on the screen. There you have the main instrument cluster. Sorry, I'm going back and forth. So we turn on the Polaris Ranger XP 1000, and this is a 2020 model. You have that main screen is booting up, and it has the right command. And I should stress, this is also a touch screen. So the first thing we'll look at is the plow mode, and for 2020 they have this great feature, which is the auto mode. And if you select the auto mode, basically you put it in reverse. Let's say you're plowing snow, and as you put it in reverse, what's going to happen is it picks up the plow, then you put it in drive, and it drops the plow, and when you're moving forward. So here you have, it tells you what drive mode you are in. There we have the two rear wheels. You're pointing, you're in neutral. You can see that on the left. It shows you the coolant temperature, and there you have your speed tachometer, and then in the center it shows you how many miles per hour, latitude, longitude, and also fuel reserve. There you have the camera function. If you look to the left, it shows you a like a silhouette of a ranger, and you can select to look behind, or you can choose to look forward. And there is the protagonist, the 2020 Mahindra Roxor. And again, I spoke about the plow mode, and is flashing a warning there. But if you have it in auto, basically what happens is you put it in reverse, it picks up the plow, you put it in drive, and then it drops the plow. You also have a back drag function, which you can see on the right and bottom of your screen below the arrow. Amazing system, this right command. If you're getting a Polaris, you need to get one with the right command. It just makes it's a whole ton of connectivity. And here I'm just exploring the other buttons to see, that's it tells you exactly where you are at. You can see I'm in Minot at Vallely Sports and Marine. And another great feature with the ride command for 2020 is that if you're riding with a group of friends, you can actually see exactly where each and every body in your party is located. For this particular demonstration, unfortunately, I did not have my phone connected. So if you want to upgrade your ride command software upgrades, it's very easy. That is the USB connector. You open up your glove compartment and you find it right there. And the Northstar edition comes, this particular one came with the winch, and that's the winch remote control. You put yourself in a difficult position. You don't need to be by your Polaris Ranger, you can be away and you control the winch while you winch yourself out of the problem. You see that little clip up there on the roof? That's where your remote should reside. So as you can see, these are two very different concepts, apples and oranges. And now we're going to look at the protections situation. For the Roxor, you have a skid plate up front protecting the oil pan, and then you also have one for in the middle for the transfer case. Whereas the Polaris Ranger XP 1000 has a skid plate from the very front to all the way to the rear. It's protected. The whole entirety of its belly is protected. I jump in now. We'll see if we could get this started. So you just get an idea at idle how much noise you can expect to hear in the car, in your Roxor. And again, this is the 2020 Mahindra Roxor. I just love the details. You can see the stitching. Great detail. I love that. And then you have the manual gear shift. Some people might have a bad knee or just don't feel like doing that, so you can get an automatic Mahindra Roxor. (2020) Mahindra Roxor looks great. So here we have a cheat sheet detailing the right command and the shortcuts. So you have 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, and turf mode. Turf mode is when you don't want to tear up your lawn, you put it in turf mode and you just have a single wheel pushing power. So this is just a quick sheet to take a look at, and you can get started on the right command system quickly. A closer look at the main gauge cluster. Let's get it started here. I do apologize for this particular clip sequence. I slowed down the video a little bit, so the engine might sound weird, but it's a dual cylinder and it has that little thumping sound like pop, 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 pop. So back to the right command, play around with it a little bit so you guys can see the various options. That's to pair to your phone, which I did not do in this particular video. You want to play music, it wants you to connect to your device, because I don't have any music connected, let's say on the USB connected to the right command system. But it just has a whole ton of connectivity, which is, I think, is awesome. That's the way technology is going. Our vehicles become an extension of us. So there you have the various options, and blacked out there you can see if you're connected, and you can actually go through your music library. And also those are windshield vents. Everything is well thought out from the factory. Remember, this is built from the ground up, and by Polaris, and slowly over the years they just keep improving on the product. It even has a tilt steering wheel. And this is in contrast to the Roxor, which is more like a utilitarian vehicle, which has a very long heritage. And Mahindra Automotive North America decided to keep that heritage. This has an electric power steering, so it doesn't have any hydraulic componentry, as opposed to the Mahindra Roxor, which has a hydraulic power steering like you would see in old school vehicles. So the power steering on the 2020 Polaris Ranger is controlled, it's electric, it's powered by electricity. Now to lift the tailgate, very easy, just like you saw. There's also an option to have a powered tailgate. This is the business end. You can see right in front of us, below your screen, it's where you have that belt that actually transmits power to the wheels. It's belt powered, so expect some maintenance and either changing the belt every so many miles. New for 2020, you can see the improved heat shield. In areas down south, that engine can really warm up your the cab. So now they have improved shielding, protecting the exhaust, and also whatever you have on the tail, on the bed. Very high quality components made by Bosch. So you can expect your Polaris Ranger XP 1000 to last a while. You want to tilt the bed all the way up, you can remove that clip and then you'll be able to tilt it. That's some more heat shielding, which protects whatever you have on the bed from, passive heat rising up from the engine if you leave it running. Again, dual cylinder, and you can see that's where the engine is at. The two spark plugs on top. And I just love these massive wheels up front and in the rear. You can tell they won't get blocked by mud. They will just toss everything that tries to cling on them. And to put the bed down, you just push down and the bed goes down. There's one other important thing I want to show you guys here under the hood. I think I fought with this for a little bit, but ultimately I got it. You just twist. I wasn't sure, so I hesitated. And you twist also and pop it, slide it forward. So that's what I was trying to show you guys. And it's just so ingenious. It's almost genius. That's the GPS receiver. This side faces the sky to remind whoever is installing it to make sure that faces the sky. That's what gets the signal from the satellite. You got a radiator cap over there, windshield washer fluid, and that component in the back with the red cable, it's to add additional optional components or additional components. Let's say a light bar, I don't know, whatever you might want to add. It becomes plug and play. You take it, plug it in there, and boom, you got power. Those are dummy caps. You just take off the cap and then you'll be able to plug in whatever additional component, optional component you acquired. Pretty ingenious. That way you don't have a rat's nest of wires and cables everywhere. The 2020 Polaris Ranger comes with a small toolkit. Check this out. Pretty complete. Because most of the body panels are injection molded components. So if you have to take them out, you have all the tools right there. Again, we're at Vallely Sports and Marine, and apart from being a Roxor dealer, they're also a Polaris dealer. I'm very thankful they were able to get me review these two vehicles side by side, and just to show the differences between the two. It's easier to see right now, and you can easily make your decision on which one will best fit your mission. Bear in mind while doing this that the Mahindra Roxor is a full-fledged four-wheel drive vehicle in India called the Mahindra Thar. You see, it doesn't come with any hitch, whereas the Ranger comes with a hitch, rated for 2,500 pounds. You can install one on the Roxor, but just be careful. That cross member you saw a few moments ago, you put on too much weight on the tongue of your trailer, you'll be twisting that metal. So just be aware. Roxor wouldn't go beyond 5 miles an hour without a seatbelt attached. So make sure you wear your seatbelt each time. You got those side bolsters. There's actually two different cabs you can get for the Roxor. One by DFK Hard Cabs, and then the other one by Curtis Industries, which worked with Mahindra Automotive North America, the OEM. So here we get a quick drive, getting the Roxor back home for the night. Easily makes the climb. This is a torque monster, and it is in line with its brethren. That's the 2020 Mahindra Roxor, and here we have the 2020 Polaris Ranger XP 1000, also going home for the night. Remember, I think I put the switch in single wheel mode, so the front wheels can't make it. The rears are trying to spin. Put it in four-wheel drive and like nothing happened. Also with its brethren. So two different, very different side by sides, two different philosophies, very affordable and available at Vallely Sports and Marine, either in Minot or in Bismarck, North Dakota. Thanks for watching. See you guys on the next video.